Hi team, I hope you guys are having a good day so far. So as I told you guys earlier in this week, I'm obviously not here today, but as usual, I want to make a little video just to talk to you guys about what you're going to be doing with the sub today. So the first thing that you guys are going to do is that you're going to listen to the audiobook of the rest of this pretty lengthy chapter that starts off part 2 of Beloved. While you're listening, I suggest that you have Post-its out and that you add Post-its to your book whenever there's a significant event that happens, or more specifically, whenever the perspective changes between Stampede and Setha. And when I talk about Stampede's perspective and Setha, it's that Toni Morrison thing that she does where she's going to be moving from third person limited from Stampede to Setha. But then within Setha's point of view, she's going to move from this third person limited perspective into this deeper first person perspective where Setha's going to recall all of the events that happened on the day that she left Sweet Home. And it's going to be the first time that we see this narration that happens from start to finish instead of it being fragmented or little bits and pieces like what we've been given so far and have had to put together ourselves. As she's doing this, she's going to be using the second person point of view. So she's going to be saying you. And you have to imagine this as like Setha is thinking these memories, but she's also thinking them in the way that maybe a lot of us do this and that we maybe like plan or anticipate conversations that happen. And so Setha is trying to plan / explain why she did what she did with Beloved. And in order to do that, she has to be able to tell Beloved everything that happened on that day that she left Sweet Home. When you guys are done, oh, one more thing. The chapter ends with this pretty powerful passage that builds from that previous passage that happens after Stampede finds the ribbon with the hair attached to it and also the piece of scalp. And he talks about how white people are quote unquote on the loose again. It's going to end with a realization that he has about white people and race. And it works complementary to these memories that Setha has because Setha's going to have in her memory of the day that she leaves Sweet Home, she's going to be thinking about the way that school teacher and his boys treated her, and she's also going to overhear a conversation. And so then that's just going to add a layer to this realization that Stampede is brought to at the end of the chapter, where there's this really intense metaphor that's being used where he thinks about this idea of like the jungle, and how the jungle can be something that can be planted within someone by the way that we perceive them, but then how, like we've said before, that judging people reveals more about the person who's doing the judging than the person who's actually receiving the judging. And so he's going to think about what it actually means for white people to experience this thing called racism. And it's going to parallel those videos that we've previously watched of Toni Morrison, where she talks about this idea of racism and how it's all about this grasp for power in order for people to perpetuate it or to keep doing it or practicing it. So when you guys are done listening, you're going to have a packet of quotes that you're going to go through with your group members, and you're going to discuss and you're going to write down, as per usual, the context and also the significance. Be sure to read the directions because for quotes 1 through 12, the directions are different for quotes 13 through 20. And you guys should get started on this in class today. And then what you don't finish is going to be your homework, and it'll be due on Monday. You guys also need to read the next 9 pages of the novel for your homework for Monday because we're going to do a little activity in class with the following 2 chapters. And the chapters that happen after page 209 are very confusing. And so I want to be able to clarify a lot of the things that have been established within these 3 chapters before we dive into those 2 really confusing chapters. So listen to the audiobook. Do your quote discussions with your group members afterward. Use your time wisely. As we know, it's really helpful to be able to discuss this book or talk about our questions that we might have. Be nice to the sub, and also be sure to be in your assigned seat. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I will see you on Monday.